Hey guys, it's Natalie with Treasures of Minnie, and I had originally said that this is what our video was going to be about today, this really cute little Valentine, but I changed it into this. I got the idea to make this, and I'm going to show you how I do both. So first of all, I got these Tootsie Pops from Hobby Lobby. I think they were like $3.50 for the bag. And we absolutely love Tootsie Pops in my house, so that's why I chose to do those. You could do any kind of sucker that you wanted. But I wanted to show you how to make a really easy little Valentine out of stuff that you probably still have at your house. But to make the little bouquet, I actually got this little terracotta pot at Hobby Lobby as well for 59 cents. So I'm going to show you how I did the single one. Plus, we're going to make the little bouquet of Tootsie Pops together. So when I'm starting out, I took a heart die of 2 different sizes and I cut out a bunch of hearts. Now the paper here that I'm using is tissue paper and origami paper. I wanted it to be a paper that was really thin. This is the die by Little Bee that I used. I used this size and this size. And I just, and this is actually the origami paper. So you wanted something that would fold and manipulate really easy. Cardstock would just be too thick. So, and the foil hearts are actually origami paper too. So then I also used some of this floral tape. You could use washi tape. I just happen to have this floral tape. And you're also going to need a little bit of this floral foam stuff. These were things that I had laying around the house and just had not used. So I stamped the bee mine and the little bee from this Lawn Fawn step set. I stamped the bee off 4 times because I wasn't sure how many I wanted to use. So with my glue gun, I'm going to take 3 of the smallest size of the hearts, and this is in some crepe tissue paper. And I had cut those out with my Big Shot. And I'm only putting a little dot of the hot glue, just a really small dot, just to kind of hold it in place. We're actually going to use the floral tape to make it look really nice and neat. But it's really hard to hold on all 3 of these and kind of get them where you want without that hot glue. If you're doing this with your child, you could use glue dots for this. I just happen to have my hot glue gun on and ready. So like I said, I'm going to do 3 of the smaller ones around the base of the Tootsie Pop. And then when I get those 3 on, you're just going to kind of manipulate it and shape it the way that, until it kind of looks how you want it to look. So you can see here in a second, I'm just kind of fiddling with them. And I actually ended up kind of turning the Tootsie Pop upside down right here, kind of letting them like sort of gravity help me out, which it did really nice. And then I took some of the floral tape and I added it around the base. Now, if you have a thing for sticky, meaning you don't like it, I would not use this floral tape. I decided really quick I hate this stuff. It works great, but it is really sticky feeling, and it sticks to itself and it gets all over your hands, and I just don't like it at all. So after this project, I would not be using it again. I think you could use washi tape here and it would work just as great. So now that I have the 3 on, I'm going to take 2 of the bigger hearts and I'm going to put them kind of on the back side of the flower, again just using a dot of hot glue to kind of hold them where I want them. These are almost kind of like, I don't know, just, I don't really know how to say it. They're almost like showcasing it. So I used 2 of the foiled bigger hearts. And then again, more with that floral tape, I'm going to put it around the base of the flower. So this is the 2. So you're going to make them both the same. If you wanted to make it the single little Valentine, I just cut a piece of regular cardstock at 1 inch thick, and I think it was about 2 inches long, and I just scored in 1/4 inch on each end. And then I took a little tiny heart punch. You could use a circle punch, anything that you have on hand. And I just punched a punch on each end, and then I stuck my Tootsie Pop through it. Now, to get it to stay on, actually, you can see that the heart it's a little snug. If you just keep pushing up, and with the sticky, I think it would work with washi tape too, it'll stay in place. You just kind of push it up in there to make it kind of tight, I guess. I hope that makes sense. But then once you have it on there, all I did for the rest of it is I took a heart punch and I punched a heart out of some designer or some patterned paper. And I heat embossed the Be Mine. And I popped it up on a foam square and just put it on the front. And then I took a little piece of thin ribbon, tied a bow. And you can see that little tag right here. I had gotten these at Walmart in their like gift wrap section. It came in a pack. I think it was like 99 cents for a bunch of these tiny tags. And I just wrote on there to and from. And that's it. That's done. But for this one, I am going to go ahead and take this part off because we're actually not going, I'm actually going to use this one as part of my bouquet. Now, I wanted to show you real quick, as I was making my third little flower, I had realized that if I take my bone folder and just lightly kind of run it up the back of these hearts, you can actually make them curl back really pretty. So this time I chose 3 of the smaller hearts in like the foiled paper. And I did the same thing as I did with the other one. And now I chose 2 of the bigger hearts in the crepe like tissue paper, and with my hot glue I did the same thing, a little dot just to kind of hold it where I wanted it. And then once I have it held in place, I take that yucky sticky floral paper again and run it around the bottom. Now, I was originally going to use those leaves that you see up there in the corner, but they did not fit. And then I decided, why not just make it all hearts? So I cut out some of the smaller hearts with some green origami paper, and I'm going to do the same thing. I curled those, the tops of it back, and I'm just going to put 2 hearts at the base in the front to kind of look like leaves. I really felt like it kind of needed some kind of greenery, and this really helped. I had cut some smaller ones right here, but they're actually too small, and I don't use them as leaves, but we do use them in the project later, and that is the smallest die heart from the Little Bee set. So once you get all 4 of these made, or you could do however many you want, but in the small little pot what we're making today, I am actually just going to need 4 Tootsie Pops, and you can do them any colors and any ways you like. And you can see here, I think the green just really kind of made it pop. It really kind of makes it look like leaves, I guess. So I'm going to set those aside, and we're going to go ahead and start working on our pot. I cut out a chunk, or I cut a chunk of this floral foam, and I'm going to go around the edge of it with my craft knife, and I'm angling it in because I want it to get smaller as I go down. Now, if you're a child, please get your parents to help you with this part. Don't try to do it on your own. And even parents probably shouldn't do it like I did it. You can see here I'm just going around it and shaving more of it down. I want it to really kind of resemble the pot. So I went to put it in and it wasn't pushing down all the way. So I'm running my craft knife around the inside of it, kind of making it shape like the pot. And then I've decided instead of to keep fiddling with it, I'm just going to give it a good press in there and just press it down really good. It kind of makes it form to the pot. That stuff made a really big mess. So once I got all that cleaned up, it was time to start arranging our flowers. So what I did first is I decided which one I wanted where. And I just kind of stuck them in. You can see the one in the back, I left the tallest. And then I'm doing these 2 on each side, and you can tell that when I push it in, I'm kind of angling it outward. You don't have to push them straight down. You can make them kind of angle into this foam however you want. Once I have them where I think that I want them, I actually just take my hot glue gun and squirt a little bit of hot glue down in the hole, and then put the Tootsie Pop back in there. Well, I take it out first, obviously, squirt some glue in there, and then I stick it back down in there. You probably don't have to do this step. I just wanted it to be nice and secure. So once we have all of those back in, it is time to add some little cute embellishments to it. So I stamped the bee 4 times because I wasn't sure how many I wanted, and I just gave them a little color and sparkle with some jelly roll pens. And then I punched them out with a heart punch and a circle because I wasn't sure which one I would want. It just so happens those smaller green hearts fit perfect right behind it. So I'm using 2 of the heart ones. And I didn't have anything to put them on, but I did have some of these straws left from Easter. So to make them match, I took some washi tape and just covered them in washi tape. Once I had that done, I poked the straw down into the foam, decided kind of by eyeballing the length that I wanted, and then I just took my scissors and snipped it off the top. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, just holding it there and thinking this is the way I want it. And then I just took a little bit of hot glue and I glued the little heart bumblebee on front of the little paper straw that I had covered with washi tape. And I also did this with the other bee as well. Now, after doing that, I decided the back one was not high enough. So I took another chunk of that foam, I glued it on there to make it a little higher, and then I poked another hole and glued it. And that raised it up just a little bit higher, and I like that a lot better. So now I have 2 bees on there, and I raised my back lollipop up. Then I decided that I had this die that I had never used, so I cut the die out with glitter paper, and then I glued that onto a piece of black construction paper and then cut it out. I covered another one of those straws with some more washi tape, and then I stuck it in the center into the foam. And with a little bit of hot glue on the end of it, I did the bumblebees the exact same way. I kind of glued this love you die on this heart right here, kind of in the center. And I was just having so much fun. I then decided to take some really thin white ribbon and tie a little bow under each of the bumblebees. And when I was done, to make sure that it stayed in place and didn't come undone, I did take a little bit of glossy accents, and I just put a little dot at the top and the bottom of the bow. That way it wouldn't slide down the stick and my bow wouldn't come undone. Now I want to put a ribbon around the base of my pot, and I decided to take 4 glue dots and just kind of put them one in the back, one on the front, and one on each side. I just kind of spaced 4 out, and I ran a piece of this ribbon around the top edge of the terracotta pot. Now this ribbon is see-through, but that's not going to matter because I am then going to take a thinner strip of some glitter ribbon, and I'm going to back it with some double-sided sticky tape. This is that Be Creative double-sided sticky tape. I'm just going to run it down the back of it on the center, and before I peel off the piece of backing tape, I am going to take my bone folder and burnish it really good. I find that this helps make sure you get a good stick. And then I'm just going to place it in the center around, kind of eyeballing it in the center of that first piece of ribbon that I put down. And this also will cover up the glue dots, so you can't see those anymore either. Then, while looking for ribbon, I came across some of this thin jewelry wire that was gold, and I decided to wrap a piece of it around each one of the straws that had the bees on it. And then I just took my pencil and just kind of rolled it into a curly Q. You don't have to add this. I really was just having a lot of fun with this, and every time I would go to look for something, I'd find something else and just kind of add it to it. So that's the only reason. This really wasn't even in the plan. And if you're giving this to a little kid, that I guess you could poke yourself. So it may not be the best thing to do. Now, all we have is this ugliness right here. And I'm going to tell you what I do to fix this is not what you should do. I did not have any, but at your local craft store, you can get some fake moss-looking grass that people use when they're doing fake flower arrangements to put down over this with some glue. Or you could also get, I know that just like they have like Easter grass, they have grass for Valentine's Day as well. I didn't have either one of those. So I filled up the bottom of my pot with hot glue. I just did sections of it at a time, and then I dumped glitter over that hot glue. And I gave it a second to not be quite as hot, and then I went around with my finger. You'll see me do it in a second. And I just kind of lightly patted the glitter down into the glue. I didn't burn myself. I'm just lightly patting it. And then you can see me doing that here. And then I dump off the excess, sorry, I always have trouble with that one, into my coffee filter so that I can put it back down. Now, while that finished setting up, I did want to make one of these little bitty tags, and I wanted to make a bow for the front of the little pot. So with some of that see-through ribbon, I think this is some Stampin' Up! Ribbon, I do tie a bow, which I fiddled with for a long time because I'm not very good at it. So I'm not going to put you through that torture. But once I get it where I want it, I take a little dot of hot glue, maybe a little more than a dot, and I glue it to the front of my pot. And it looks, I have to say, pretty proud of it. It looks pretty cute. I did fiddle with it for a while though. I trimmed down the length of my little tails, and then I got out some baker's twine that I have, and I'm going to use that to tie one of the little tags, or the little tag that I stamped the Be Mine with, onto the front. So I'm just going to tie a little bow on the front of this as well and snip off my ends. And I wasn't sure how I wanted to put this on there, but I did decide to just put a little dab of hot glue right into the center of the bow where the kind of knot is. And then I just pressed my tag into it. And this is what it looks like. This came out really, really, really cute. The only really messy part was trying to cover up the green foam, which you guys could do very different. The last little thing that I did is I took some of my stickles and I just put little dots all over the petals. I don't know, I just thought it looked cute. So here's what we have. You can either make a single little Valentine with one lollipop, and all you need is some thin paper of any kind. You could use computer paper and color it. You could let your little ones color little hearts and then cut them out and give that, or you can make a bouquet and give that to someone. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm not sure what my next video is going to be. I've got a lot of sewing to get caught up on this week. I think I've told y'all before I have an Etsy shop called Treasures of Minnie where I make pet beds. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, and until next time, hugs and loves from my craft room to yours.